I just want to tell a quick story that probably was the most significant thing that ever happened in my life, and it had to do with leadership and courage. And I want to share it with you because it's affected the rest of my life, and whenever I could tell the story, I think it's really important I share it. First, I want to talk about leadership, and I've been trying to study leadership the best I can, and so I'm looking up what a leader is and what it means. And when you break it down, L-E-A, lead, means path, and when you look at D-E-R, dir, you look at finder. And so when you think of a leader, you think of somebody that's a pathfinder. In fact, in the early days of our country, the pathfinders were the ones that got on their hands and knees and looked for the hoof marks to look for food at night, listened, used their ears to find out ways they can help others. They used all their senses, and they were great people to be with. And so when I think of pathfinders, I think of these young Boy Scouts who are helping other kids in their class. They're pathfinders, they're leaders, helping the other kids achieve the next level. And when you look at the parents who lead their children, you're all pathfinders. You're all pathfinders, helping your children go to the next level. And it brings me to the story that I want to tell you about courage, because leaders have to be very courageous. See, I was looking up courage because sometimes I challenge with courage, because sometimes I have fear when doing something. The quality of mind or spirit that enables a person to face difficulty, danger, pain, all without fear. And I think of those in the military right now. And I think back what true courage is. Back this past February, I was going back to D.C. to see our elected officials, and I was talking to Dante Acosta. Dante Acosta's son, Rudy, was killed by a friendly, unfortunately, 2 years ago. And as we were talking over coffee, it was a Friday, I said, I'm going to D.C. on Monday. Is there anything I'm going to do, any message you want me to send back to Buck and those I'm going to visit? He goes, as a matter of fact, yes. See, there's this young man, the same age as Rudy, that was shot 3 times in the same attack with Rudy. And I said, well, tell me more. He said, yes, the young man's name's Chris Hemwell, and we become friends with him, and he's ended up surviving. Rudy and another named Donald Nichols had died during the attack. And he said they became good friends, and he's got great stories about Rudy. Well, you go visit them, they just had a baby. In fact, Chris just lost his leg from the attack. He'd been able to save it for about 1.5 years. And I said, Dante, it would be my pleasure, it'd be my honor to go meet this young man. So I flew out on Monday morning. I arranged a meeting with this young man named Chris Hemwell on Tuesday morning at Walter Reed. And he talked to me like I was his best friend. Yeah, Fred, I'd love to. You're a friend of Rudy's, you're a friend of mine. Please come. In fact, tomorrow I'm being fitted for my new prosthetic. Will you come with me to my first day of physical therapy? And I said, I would be honored to do that. And I'm just a friend of the family. He goes, please come. My wife will be there, our dog will be there, and our baby will be there. Baby was a couple months old. And I wasn't quite prepared for what I experienced. I showed up to Walter Reed Hospital at 7:30 in the morning. For a California boy, this was all I was wearing. I was absolutely freezing. It was probably 30 degrees and windy. And I waited out there for an hour for them to let me in. And he says, come on, let's go to physical therapy. And I walked in this room. And in this room, it was no bigger than this room right here, and there's a track. There's nothing but tables sitting around. And it was the prosthetic, it was the amputee ward of Walter Reed Hospital. And it was his first day. And he comes in, scared, fearful, but not lacking courage. See, for when he comes in, there's another amputee that lost his right leg. That's giving him the courage to move on. See, in fact, if you looked in the room, the most amazing thing I saw was everyone was at a different stage of development, of being able to walk again, being able to run again, being able to write again, be able to do whatever they want to do in life. Why? Because they believed in defending our freedom. They had the courage to go and defend our freedom. And you saw all these pathfinders like I talked about. There was always someone saying, come on, you can do it. I was there a month ago. I wasn't able to walk a month ago, and now I can. Now I can run. I wasn't able to do this, and now I can. And one of the most amazing things I saw was this one gentleman that comes in. He's on 2 blades. In fact, he's missing both arms. He's got 2 prosthetics. He's got quadruple amputee. And I said, what's the story with that guy? He comes rocking in, smiling. He goes, the most amazing thing, Fred, see that guy right there? Last 2-3 weeks ago when I lost my leg, he comes in the next day and he says to me, I don't want you complaining one bit. I lost all 4. You've only lost 1. And so that's what courage is all about. Being able to pick yourself up when you're scared. Being able to be a pathfinder when you're not sure where the path's going to take you. And so I want to leave you with just one last quote from Ronald Reagan. And he said, the best arsenal this great country of ours has is the will and moral courage of free men and women. So as you leave today and you face challenges, whether it's a challenge in school or whether it's a challenge at work, whether it's a challenge in your relationship, whether it's a challenge in your life, illness, anything else, have the courage to face your day like these young men and women do every day. Have the courage to be a pathfinder for your family. Have the courage to be a pathfinder for so many that look up to you. Carl and Jerry, I want to say it's an honor to have met you. It's an honor to be here tonight. And may God bless you all. Thank you.
Fred, we want to present you with now you know why he was this year's honoree. We want to present you with this eagle. Bring the pretty girl in front there. Here we go.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
I don't think there's anybody live in here who hasn't been touched by something Fred has done for us personally, often, and or the community. Seems like where's Waldo? Every time I turned around, there was Fred. One of the events or another. I'd like